Morning, everyone. It's Jan, Not a Real Farm. We're out today, guys, out here planting seeds and getting everything ready. As you can see over there, I do have my cozy coats, which I showed you on the video, I think on the last time, where we've got our tomatoes and our cucumbers underneath those to keep that frost free. Slowly but surely, guys, we're getting it done, but we are fighting between snowstorms and frost, and all kinds of things are going on. So we're just going to take the lids off of some of these trays and see what we've actually got in terms of any types of starts, if anything new's come up. There we go. Now this one contains some of my double red corn. Oh, yeah, we can see that going up there. Let me just put the lid down. You can see the double red corn now is starting to come up, no problem. Now here, let me just bend down so you can see here. I have a mat. Now, normally you get the single 10-20 tray mats that just go under your single trays, but my mat here goes the entire length of the table. So it goes right to the middle. Let me see if I can move so you can see. One of the longest heating mats I've ever had. So this guy here stops in the middle. So it's about 4 feet long. And then I continue on with another 4-foot mat to go along underneath the pots. So I was getting really tired of having singular heat mats. As you can see, when we plant a lot of trays, and it can actually start getting a little bit trying to put a million different single 10-20 tray warmers up here. So we ended up getting mats that will go the entire length of the table. They work great. If you can get an opportunity to pick some up, do it. Totally worth it. So here's my tray of corn. It's mixed, of course. It's got different things in it. Double red is coming up. We've got motherland okra. So that is going to be about a 10-foot okra plant. So we only planted one of those. We've got some Chinese broccoli starting to come up. My sunflowers. All of these here. These are Titan sunflowers. So the Titan sunflowers are some of the biggest sunflowers you can grow. So we're going to be putting those on the outside of the house and probably down around the greenhouse since there's 10 of them. I've been doing a lot of repotting. So what I've been doing is taking some of the celebrity tomatoes out and actually placing them in pots. But as you can see, what happens with the grow mats is your soil. I just watered these yesterday, so the soil has gotten completely dry. So it's something you have to keep on top of, especially if you have a greenhouse. When you have a greenhouse, your pots actually dry out faster. So keeping an eye on that is good. They usually require watering once or twice a day, especially when the season starts heating up. So here we've got a Bulgarian leek. So these are extra large leeks that I'm excited to plant. Like I said, these are our celebrity tomatoes. And then we've got our King of the North peppers. So I'm going to be haven't decided. I'm either going to transplant these right into the ground and then put a cozy coat around them, or I'm just going to transplant them to pots. I haven't decided yet. Yesterday we planted some scarlet flax. So none of these will be up yet. They were watered yesterday, but you can tell just by simply looking at them that because they're on the heat tray and because it gets so warm in here so fast, they dry out really quick. Okay, so here we go. So what I normally do, I know that people like to use the tags to show what their plants are, but I find sometimes what happens is if I drop the plant, if I move it by accident, sometimes you can hook these and they actually fall out. So what I end up doing is just labeling the side of the planter. So this is a Peruvian tomato. I only grew one. It'll be purple and not too big, probably more like a salad tomato than anything. These are called elephant ear peppers, and there's a reason for that. They do look like an elephant ear. If you get a chance, take a look at what elephant ear peppers look like. They are a red pepper and they're sweet. Then we have our lychee tomatoes. So if anybody knows lychee tomatoes, you know that they have thorns on them. So we have to be super careful when we're harvesting these ones. And these are poppy seeds, so bread poppy seeds, poppies. And I've got more broccoli. And then here, this is called an accordion tomato. So the accordion tomatoes get about a pound and a half, and they look exactly like an accordion. They're bright orange. Take a look. They're pretty cool. What else we got here? So here what I've done is I've transplanted actually quite a bit of things. So here we've got our Thai purple eggplant. We've got our soup celery, so I've transplanted that into a pot, and that's super happy. Here we've got our blanket flowers. So they went into a little bit of shock after I transplanted them, but they should be fine. They're coming back. We've got lettuce leaf basil, which gets huge. The leaves are humongous on it. Some of the biggest basil I've ever grown. Okay, and our chocolate cherry sunflowers. We've got some beans here. We've got our soybeans, which are super happy that it's gotten hot in here. And we've also got a sacred blue bean that we'll be planting soon. And then we have here purple tomatillos. And tomatillos take up a lot of room, so I only planted 2 of those this year. Okay. So what we have here is we have a succotash bean. They got hit by frost, but they actually came back nicely, so I kept them. I just wanted to see if maybe they would regenerate, and they did, so let's hope they give us some beans. This is our shinshu bean here. So this is going to be a runner bean, and it's going to give you purple runner bean seeds, which is kind of cool. And then here, I'm going to pick this guy up. This is called a spring garden jail tomato, and it has a very good history with it. It's actually exactly like it sounds. These were tomatoes that were grown in the spring garden jail. If you take a look, you can find out where that is. I'm originally from the East Coast, so I was sent seeds for the tomato, so I decided to grow it out. Some of my delicious tomatoes. These tomatoes here are called a Sart, S-A-R-T, Rolloes tomato. And these are a yellow and a purple tomato. So these are going to be beautiful. I can't wait to grow them out, except what's going to happen is I can only plant so many because I want to try a few different types of varieties of tomatoes this year. And of course, the old reliable summer savory. Let's see what else we got here. All right. So these are going to be the celebrity tomatoes that I've transplanted. I've got one little guy in here, and he is called a spoon tomato, so they're no bigger than a currant. So you can put lots of little baby tomatoes, probably about as big as a blueberry, I'm going to say. That's why it's called the spoon tomato. They're very, very tiny. But all of these, I'm going to take a few of these and probably most likely share the celebrity tomatoes with others. They're very reliable. I really like them. And then here, we've got our lime red zinnias. Our honeydew is doing amazing now that the heat is kicked up a bit in here. We've got some more honeydew. I just planted some Country Hill okra, so that is going to be a red okra that's going to go outside. So far, so good, guys. You can see here that I've been doing a lot of transplanting and putting lots of things in pots here. I'm almost at the end of my table. It's all about variety this year. But the other thing that I wanted to do as well is I wanted it to be something where it was a mix between heirlooms and hybrids. I'm just seeing a real mix of weather happening, and I'm not really too sure what's going to happen with the sun and the weather this year. So I'm going to grow some of my old standbys, but I'm also going to grow some hybrids. It's got to be a mix. Now this tray here, a few nights ago, got hit by frost. I've transplanted a lot of things out of it, but there were still some things that still needed to grow in here. So we've got some peppers that I'm waiting on. These are gigantic poppies. I'm going to take those out. Poppies are they're tough. They'll make it. I've got a Chinese 5-spice pepper that has just decided to come up now that I've got the heat mat under. and then just a few sort of leftovers in this tray, and then we're going to take it off. Now this is a tray of lettuce, different kinds of lettuces, and it was only recently planted, but you can see here the tray is now starting to have the little seedlings come up in them, so that's good. Okay, I try not to waste any of the water, right? So in this tray here, what you're seeing there is not little blades of grass, it's actually rice. So I have 2 sets of rice that are actually growing this year. All of the rices that I do grow are called an upland rice. And what that means is it's not going to need the water like you would normally see. For example, when you see the rice fields where they're flooded with water, these actually grow on dry land. So it is possible to grow rice in your backyard. You just have to get the right form of rice to do that, but it is possible. Here is my butternut squash, but you know, like I said, a couple of these trays got hit by frost. And I think what I'm going to be doing is probably replanting my butternut squash, which I just finished actually harvesting. Well, I didn't say harvesting, cooking one of my butternut squashes that I picked with you guys actually since I think we picked it in October, and it was amazing. So another tray that I'm still waiting for stuff to come up on. It's got, you know, black chickpeas in it, black strawberry tomatoes, more bok choy, all kinds of different things. Let's see. This entire tray here is going to have chrysanthemums in them. I'm just waiting for them to come up. Let's see. Oh yes, here we go. A lot of these are still new trays. So here you can see my green onions have all now started to come up. So trying to plant perennial onions so that each year they're going to come back and I don't have to actually worry about replanting them. Look at that, in 5 days, let's say, I think I showed comfrey to you guys maybe 5 days ago on a different video, and you can see absolutely happy in here. But let's take a quick peek at the tomatoes. We go over here, you can see where my cozy coats are. So guys, I fill out these cozy coats with water. That's what I was trying to show you on the last video. The cozy coats come flat like this. So when you get them, you'll get them in a package that's folded over. They come flat. And basically all you're doing, if you haven't got cozy coats, they are absolutely convenient, is they have these little pockets in them. And what you do is you fill these pockets, they're individual pockets, with water, and they basically act like a solar heater for your plants. So if you get unexpected frost, or maybe you just want to get planting like me, but you live in a zone that's not allowing you to plant early enough, what you can do is you wrap these cozy coats around your plants. So in here I've got tomatoes. And last night, the temperature was about minus 15 Celsius. I snuck in a cucumber in this one. Can you see in there? You can see the cucumber. So that was at minus 15 Celsius. And the reason why I showed them to you guys yesterday was because if you can get a hold of some this summer or this spring, even if you keep them for next year, they're really handy for really getting your vegetables started quick in the cold weather. If you take a look down in there, my tomatoes are just fine. Ooh, check out this guy's heavy. Wow, check this out. That guy is really happy in there. So he is doing just fine. And as you can see, what happens with these is because they're filled with water, the cold will hit the water first and freeze the water before it freezes your plant. So I've actually planted with cozy coats now for quite a few years, and I can plant in minus 25 degree weather Celsius, and my plants will not freeze. If there's sun that day that I've planted, and it's bright sun, and I fill them up in the day early enough, my plants will not die. So what it does also is, of course, it keeps your soil inside warm too. So I just wanted to let you know that if you don't have cozy coats, they will keep your plants cozy and they're worth the money. So grab some if you can. Usually they come in a pack of 5 or 10. I think these ones that I have were a pack of 10. And I've had them for years. So they're more than one season that you can use them. And they're awesome. Okay, so in this bin, what we have is we have got, let me just put down here so you can see. We took the time and we planted some spinach. So it's happy, it's coming up, it's doing its thing. And then over from there, we've planted some salad bowl lettuce. And here, if we look really closely, I've planted a pomegranate romaine lettuce. So we've got quite a few of them that are starting to sort of come back. They went into shock yesterday a little bit after I transplanted them out of the cells, but they're doing just fine. So we're going to have lettuce soon. Pretty cool. And then in here, we've started our Swiss chard. Once again, I've transplanted these from cells. They're doing just fine. They will go into a little bit of a shock, but as long as you don't break the roots, they can be transplanted, no problem. So we've got quite a bit of Swiss chard coming up. And then over here, I used another cozy coat. I snuck some more cucumbers in over here. So you guys know cucumbers are super fussy. They don't like it too hot. They don't like it too cold. Cucumbers can be a challenge. But like I said, it was about minus 13 out last night. So you can see in here. And the cucumbers are just fine. Now, they're still in shock because, of course, I transplanted them yesterday, so they're not happy. But they will recover and be just fine in here. The soil's nice and damp. It's a perfect atmosphere for them. And then, of course, once the temperature is above 0 at night, these cozy coats come off. Then walking through, here we go. Check out the roses. Isn't that amazing? Roses are awesome. It's getting so many new leaves on it. It's pretty good. It's, like I said, it's minus 13 Celsius at night. And in here, these roses are doing amazing. And like I said, this greenhouse isn't heated, so there's no evidence of any frost or anything on these roses, so it's great. Oh, and look way down in here. I've got another purple asparagus heirloom. So I'll probably just clip them off at this level since there's not that many of them, and then we'll have that tonight with dinner. Awesome. The weeds have begun. As soon as it gets warm, the weeds come out. In this bed here, this is the bed with my gobo in it, and you can see here that I've actually put hopefully you can see that, just a little trellis that comes down. I've planted some peas here, so we're going to start growing a little bit of the sugar sprint peas just to give us a little bit of a taste for spring because I can't plant outside yet. And then here, I just planted these yesterday, so there's nothing that's going to be up there, but we've just planted contender beans. So we have 5 rows of contender beans going down here. Over where that indentation is there, that is all carrots. So we've started, guys. Slow start, but not really sure, like I said, what the weather is going to do this year. I'll probably be doing a lot of my planting undercover. Planting a lot in the greenhouse this year because I'm not really sure what kind of summer I'm in for. The blueberries are doing amazing, so they've all got brand new little buds on them. We just got to give the bed a little bit of a clean out. These guys over here are doing the same too. See all the nice new little buds on them. So these, like I said, these blueberries will not grow very tall. They'll only grow about a foot tall, and that's great for these little planters. Not a whole bunch of blueberries, but enough to give you something to throw in your yogurt or just sort of enjoy as an afternoon snack if you're in here. The herbs haven't necessarily started to really do much. The catnip I can see is starting to come back. The oregano, oh, and here we go. You cannot kill mint. That's why I have it in the cup. Mint will take over your garden, but I do like mint in a salad, so you can see there's some little shoots that are starting to come up from that. I was hoping my rosemary would come back. I don't know. It's hard. Rosemary is very fussy in this zone, so we'll have to see what happens. And here are my walking onions again. Seems like they get taller and taller by the day, but you can see more and more of them are starting to come out now. So these are an Egyptian red walking onion. So we'll be able to, like I said, collect all the little bulbils from there and keep those and then put them in the store and then replant hopefully a bigger bed as time goes on. I do have some out in the other greenhouse as well, but we'll have onions, that's for sure. And then, of course, last but not least are my apple trees. It's amazing. Look at all the new leaves that are starting on this one. It's amazing. So all in all, guys, everything is growing really great in the greenhouse. Like I said, I'm not really sure what kind of summer we're going to get this year. It's going to be a hit or miss, I think. Definitely a slow start to the spring, but we can work with that. So we're going to be, like I said, putting our stuff in the cozy coats and getting the tomatoes and the cucumbers in. And we're going to try and rock it this summer and make sure that we put enough food away for the winter. That's it for me today, guys. If you have any questions, pop them below. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe, or see you soon.